Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp small business expert. Every episode, I pick one review on Yelp and talk to the entrepreneur and the reviewer about the story and business lessons behind their interaction. This week, we're featuring Cakebread Cellars, one of many Napa Valley wineries. But it stood out to reviewer Jamie and is still to this day a favorite brand of hers. Not all winery visits are able to transform someone from a one-time visitor to a loyal customer. But Jamie's visit marked the beginning of a steadfast relationship with Cakebread. After her 5-star experience, she began to seek out Cakebread wine both in online orders and via retailers closer to home. Let's hear Jamie's review.
We received lovely customer service, and they have a lovely outdoor seating area for wine club members. Our wine server was very knowledgeable, professional, and friendly. She was very passionate about her job, and I loved hearing the history of Cakebread and how the owners purchased the land and started many years ago. COVID procedures are in place. They took our temps before we entered, and masks are required. Staff wore gloves and masks. Then we were given a wine list, and each wine was introduced and given a little bit of background before poured. I love that. We were also given small bites with our tasting. Our wine glasses came with our tasting. Our server wrapped each glass and bagged them for us and also gave us some chocolates to take home. What a lovely experience.
Jamie highlighted Cakebread's superior customer service. In an experience that is so reliant on those personal, tailored interactions, the sommeliers and servers play a central role in ensuring guests are satisfied with their experience.
She knew exactly when to come in and stop talking and giving us time to enjoy our company with our guests or us being guests. Like I had mentioned in my review, I liked that she didn't just say the name of the wine and tell us a little about the wine and then poured and then left. What I liked is that she gave us a history about the wine, what types of grapes they used, or if they mixed it with a different type of grape for this certain wine. So before she poured, she would give us a little bit of history. And then as she's pouring, she's talking a little bit more about the owners or a little bit about the winery. And then we taste it. And then she'll ask, oh, how did you like that? This is my favorite. Or, just asking you, how do you feel about this wine that you're trying? And then she'll politely and professionally just say, okay, now I'll be back. I'm going to get the other wine ready for you. And she leaves she just gives us enough time. And I think she's very observant that she watches to see, the level of our glasses. And then she swoops right in. But it's just comparing it to other wineries where I've been. It's like an art. She's just so amazingly perfect. The timing is just impeccable. She just comes in and she knows exactly how to introduce the next wine without us. Sometimes when you have a waiter, oh, how is everything? But you just put a bite in your mouth and then you can't speak. So she just knew exactly when to walk in and when to exit. It was really good.
Customer service extends beyond the one-on-one interactions customers have with their server. It's the feeling they get when they walk onto the grounds and the summation of every conversation they have with each staff member along the way. It all comes together to create a very specific environment.
So I've been to enough wineries, whether it's something that's more family friendly and others that are more, it's adults only, and the tasting price is more on the high side, because there are some places where it's free, but that everyone goes there, everyone buys wine there. But Cakebread, in comparison to other wineries that I've been to, more upscale wineries, they do feel welcoming and warm. They were not stuffy. They were not snooty. It felt like they want you to feel like even though we have an upscale reputation, we're still approachable. The way they talk to you. I mean, knowing that we're not wine club members. And what I liked is that they didn't push you to be a wine club member. And that's very important because I feel like if you know that you have great wine, you don't need to push your membership on your customers. So that was nice. I liked feeling that I could just sit here and enjoy tasting your wines, and I'm going to buy a bottle or two. And perhaps I will join if I feel like I'm ready to join versus having them hovering. These are your prices if you're a wine club member. I mean, there was none of that at all. In other places, they almost turn their nose on you if you're not a wine club member. And I didn't get that feeling at all with Cakebread.
Prioritizing creating a welcoming and approachable space is a value that runs deep in Cakebread's culture. Brian, the team's culinary director, says it best.
Cakebread Cellars is a family-owned business located in Rutherford in the heart of the Napa Valley and started by Jack and Dolores Cakebread. Very first vintage is 1973. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary. That's something exciting for us. The Cakebread family are originally from the East Bay. Jack Cakebread had a business in Oakland. This was a second career for him. And then his two sons, who now own the winery, Bruce and Dennis, they spend their whole careers at the winery. So Bruce was our second winemaker. We've only had 4 winemakers in our entire history, which is, I think, something that speaks volumes about our business and continuity. And then Dennis Cakebread came from a accounting background and did sales and marketing for most of the history of the winery. Very much a family business. I think one of the ways that they run the business is that they take a lot of pride in it. They're very hands-on owners and wanted to make world-class wines, but also to be just as well known for their hospitality. The Napa Valley is sort of based on that. So that you visit a winery, it's very much about tasting the wines, but it's also the experiences that you have there and the hospitality that the winery provides and the interactions you have with the hosts. So that's always been a very important part of how they viewed their business and how we want our guests to feel welcome and valued.
Balancing a high-end experience with comfort and making sure customers, especially those non-members, feel welcome can be tricky. The answer may lie in going back to the basics of hospitality.
So anybody who comes to the Napa Valley, it's obviously a special occasion, right? So, to come wine tasting is something that people look forward to, that maybe have been saving up or been traveling from different parts of the country. So expectations are very high. And each winery is sort of a reflection of the owner and their property. And the Cakebreads are when you meet the family, they're very approachable, very welcoming, down to earth. Nothing makes them happier than sharing the winery with their guests. And that's really our approach to how we treat hospitality. We're pretty down to earth people. It doesn't feel like you're going to a French chateau. There's other wineries in the valley, and that's the experience. And I love that experience. But coming to Cakebread is much, much more welcoming and friendly. And I think those people feel comfortable. They're beautiful grounds. They take a lot of pride in the winery, the architecture of the building. There's sort of a feel to sort of classic California-like feel to our architecture. Dolores Cakebread is a master gardener, took great pride in our grounds and our gardens. And then, just the family's approach in general to hospitality is to be welcoming and friendly.
And that welcoming family vibe is what deepened the relationship Jamie felt she had with the brand long after her visit.
I don't live very close to Sonoma, and going to Sonoma County or Napa is more of a treat. So my husband and I will go there maybe 4 times a year. But when we do shop for wine, we already know which brands we like and which type of wine that we like. And it's like easy. Oh, Cakebread. We'll just remember we really like that cab from this one year. Yeah. I wish that we lived close enough that we could be wine members. It's just hard, especially with kids. It's hard to pull ourselves away because every weekend is a sports weekend. So maybe as when we're older and our kids are older, we'll remember the experience at Cakebread and say, remember, that was really fun. Now we can be wine members, but we do use the experiences that we have, whether it's at a restaurant or even when we look at the wine list at a restaurant, if we see Cakebread, say, oh, this was a good one. Remember this, we really like this one. And so we'll order that. Or we do have a couple bottles at home that are ready, especially because we have our glasses and people know like, oh, I mean, Cakebread has a reputation. And so when we have friends over at our house and they see that we're pouring them Cakebread in the wine glasses, they say, whoa, you guys went to Cakebread? So fancy. I'm like, yes, I know. We're almost wine club members. But yeah, we have this great experience with them. So we're sharing that with our friends. And so if they do end up going, they'll just say, oh, Jamie S. really loves this wine and they had a great experience at the winery. So that's one that we need to hit the next time.
Be right back after a quick break. Are you a small business owner? Did you know that Visa's online small business hub has tools, discounts, and resources to help you run your business? So whether you're a business beginner or an entrepreneurial expert, find the solutions, tools, and tips you need to help take your business to the next level. Plus, if you have a Visa Business credit or debit card, you can get access to cardholder benefits like Visa Savings Edge, a savings program which can help you save on everyday business expenses like office essentials, travel, and more. When you enroll your Visa Business card in Visa Savings Edge, you'll have access to valuable offers which can help turn qualifying business purchases made with your enrolled Visa Business card into savings for your business. Learn more at visa.com/smallbusinesshub. Once again, that's visa.com/smallbusinesshub. Visa, a network working for everyone. And our next sponsor. Busy restaurants have tons of greasy pots and pans and greasy surfaces with less labor to spend time doing dishes and cleaning. Well, for you, maybe Dawn Professional Manual Pot and Pan Dish Detergent and Dawn Professional Multi-Surface Heavy Duty Degreaser can help save you some time. They're specifically formulated to cut through tough commercial kitchen grease. Dawn Professional Manual Pot and Pan cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink, reducing sink changeover versus the leading competitor's Professional Dish Soap. Dawn Professional Multi-Surface Heavy Duty Degreaser cuts grease 2 times faster versus the leading professional food service supplier's National Degreaser. So what are you going to do? You should upgrade to Dawn Professional Manual Pot and Pan Dish Detergent and Dawn Professional Multi-Surface Heavy Duty Degreaser from P&G Professional. Spend less time cleaning and more time doing what you love. Go to pgpro.com to learn more and sign up for great deals. Again, that's pgpro.com. One aspect of the Cakebread experience that goes back to the brand's early days is its unique food offerings. Brian and his team of chefs curate a rotating menu to feature the seasonal offerings that the estate harvests.
There's a lot of wine food programs in the Valley. Jack and Dolores, when they first started it, really had the mindset that wine is meant to be enjoyed with food. And that's how we promote ourselves. So we have a variety of different programs that we do. Jamie was fortunate enough to be invited to spend some time on the wine club patio with her friends who are wine club members. And so obviously those are very important customers. You love it when people become wine club members because then your relationship with them is direct. One, they're buying your wine on a regular basis, but you're also developing that relationship. Then they become ambassadors, ideally, which it seems like Jamie's friends are ambassadors for us because they bring their friends here. And then all of a sudden, we've got more ambassadors. So for wine club members, when they come to the winery, there's a separate area for them. It's patio, that's a seated tasting and a selection of wines that are primarily focused on wines for the wine club. And when the guests first are seated, we give them a little amuse. And so it's typically a little crostini with spread some, most often, goat cheese. And then Josh and myself, we change the toppings throughout the year to reflect what comes out of our garden. So when the Cakebreads first bought the property, one of the first things they did was put in a vegetable garden. And I think it's one of the joys of being a chef here is that's what drives our menus. We think about what wine we want to showcase, but then what can we cook with off of the property that will showcase the wine. And so the day that Jamie was here, and it was interesting because when I listened to her, she said she was here for Valentine's Day weekend. And then she said, had crostini with tomatoes on it. And we were very seasonal. So I was like, cherry tomatoes. And I looked at the photo, and it's actually what the photo is. It's goat cheese with these heirloom carrots from our garden. So our gardener plants, and she'll do it in one bed where she'll plant a variety of different carrots. So it's almost as colorful as like cherry tomatoes that come in a variety of colors. Because like, there's no way we would have served cherry tomatoes in February. But we had these carrots from our garden, and they're yellow ones and orange ones and, purple haze. But then we drizzle it with a little bit of our honey because we have hives on the property. So just accentuate the sweetness a little bit. Maybe it mimicked a cherry tomato. And then we sprinkled with a little bit of dukkha, which is a Middle Eastern spice blend. And that just sort of makes flavors pop. And typically that would be put down on the plate just as like they pour them a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, and just sort of wakes your taste buds up. And it's a little surprise and delight. And it's, as I said, everybody comes here with high expectations, and you want to meet those expectations, but really you want to surpass them. And so that's just something that they're not expecting it. And it's a sort of a gift. It's placed on the plate to welcome them and start their tasting off. And we have other tastings. If you came and signed up for a tasting and you aren't fortunate enough to come with Jamie's Wine Club members and you do it, there's a variety of different tastings we have. And so we also have a wine food experience, and that's an opportunity for our guests to taste 4 bites. And we're not a restaurant. That's really not the purpose of our food program at the winery, is to operate as a restaurant, but for us to do experiences where people get to try our wine with the food. And so we change this menu throughout the year, but again, it's a reflection of what's coming off the property with 4 bites. And it's an opportunity for our guests to see the creativity of Josh and myself, but also how they perceive flavors and how wine and food interact together. So that's another experience. We're actually getting ready for a cooking class tomorrow. Josh is leading a class on spring vegetable garden. So it's a way for us to showcase the garden and sort of the cooking that we do this time of year with a selection of wines. We have a lot of fun with that. That's all the cooking classes we do are hands-on. And so what we found over the years is we did demo classes, but what people more often than not would like to get in the kitchen and cook with the chefs. And so basically they make their own meal. So it's interactive. It's a full day experience. We have a lot of fun with it, and our guests, they really enjoyed it. It's a different experience that you can't do at too many other wineries.
Brian and his team honor the estate's culinary tradition, serving produce grown on site with the bites they create. With Cakebread's family background being such an important part of its values, recruitment of new team members follows on the same tack. It takes a special candidate passing a rigorous recruitment process to earn a place on Brian's culinary team.
In the culinary department, we work very closely together. It's actually a very small team. In many ways, that's one of the things I really like because we have great respect and communication for one another. We do work together and support one another. I don't think anybody feels too proud to help in whatever way, whatever needs to be done. I think it speaks a lot to the recruiting process. Our HR department, we're pretty thorough. It's good experience. And I think it just speaks that we want to have a really good fit. You don't want to waste employees' time if it's not a good fit for them. And obviously it's a detraction from the company if it's not a good fit. So we really try to take our time. I think we have a fabulous HR department that really puts in the work as far as making sure it's a good fit. And then also the onboarding process, when employees do come on board, that they really get what our culture is about and our history and how we want to be viewed and how we want to project ourselves to our customers.
Speaking of projecting Cakebread's culture and history, these factors heavily play into how the team displays their products. Aesthetically pleasing beverages and food pairings make for an enticing photo op. Jamie included 3 photos in her review of Cakebread. She showed one of the small plates, her wine glass, and the branded chocolate she was given.
I'm a photographer on the side, so I always take pictures. If I like something, if something attracts the eye, I'll take a picture of it. Usually when we walk in, if there's flowers, like beautiful fresh flowers, or if there's something with their name on it, or for example, if there's a sign on the door that's beautiful or the doorknob looks amazing, I take that. When every wine, even though it looks the same for anyone who's not there, I will take a picture of every wine that comes out in the glass. And then, so this friend of mine who, my best friend who's there, we are always taking, oh, let's boomerang that. This is the wine going in and out. Oh, then, and it's for every wine. We do that for every wine, all the whites, all the reds, and we'll take video, we'll take pictures. If the scenery looks great, then I want to promote that for the business, especially for other Yelpers to see, wow, what a gorgeous site. Wow, what artistic features do they have at the site? Ooh, look at the food. And I think that's what attracts people to come to the business, is because they're seeing your experience, you're sharing their experience, and they want to see in comparison to another winery. Why should we go to Cakebread? Oh, look at this. They have chocolates. I want the Yelpers to see my experience and know why should I go to Cakebread?
The impact of reviews affects both future customers and the business itself. Posted reviews influence people's decisions about whether they want to visit Cakebread, and they play an important role in making sure every customer has the best experience possible. To close out, let's hear about how the Cakebread team thinks about and leverages feedback to improve their business.
After events that have a culinary aspect to them, we send out a survey, and that is an opportunity for us to see if we're doing a good job, if we exceeded their expectations. And if there was an issue, it's an opportunity for us to learn from it. So that's how I view it. And honestly, I know our founder, Jack Cakebread, passed away last week. He was 92 years old, lived a wonderful life, and think I'm different things I learned from him or that he used to say. And one of the things he said, it's always easier to keep a customer than to get a new one. And obviously we want new customers, but we want to keep the customers that we have. We value the feedback we get from our customers. If they do give us negative feedback, I think we thank them. We're very appreciative that they took the time to share that with us, because if they don't, it doesn't give us an opportunity to learn from it. And they did tell you more often than not, you're going to reach out to them. I know I've been in that role where I did get that feedback, and more often than not, I want to talk to them. It's like, wow, I'm sorry. We didn't meet your expectations, and we've made note of it. And so we don't necessarily look at it like, oh, you messed up, you screwed up. It's just for us all to be aware. And especially in the hospitality industry, because I mean, someone could show up at your property that's already in a bad mood. And if you're good at your job and you take hospitality seriously, it's picking up on cues, so that if you sort of pick up on that, it's like, oh, I've got to make sure I get a glass of wine in their hand, or, a little bite to eat or whatever, so that you can turn that, as opposed to letting it fester until it's too late. We're all human. Our goal is for everybody to leave here happy, and tell their friends.
And that concludes our episode. Be sure to subscribe so you get new episodes every Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community. For more information about today's business or to connect with me, check out the show notes.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, faces, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
This episode featured conversations with Brian from Cakebread's culinary team and Jamie, a reviewer who visited Cakebread cellars. Special thanks to Jenna Spray, who helped write this episode. To learn more about the story, check out the blog post. And don't forget to subscribe so you get an alert each Thursday when a new episode comes out. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Ali Schwartz and produced by Robbie G of Messerol Sound. The show was produced and edited by Entrepreneur Media.